Hello, I'm Amy, I'm the clinical specialist at Saebo, and in this video I'm going to show you some sample exercises you can try when you don't have very much movement in your shoulder and it's using our SaeboMAS Mini. So starting feature that you can use is I'm going to use this little black stopper at the side, and this is going to lock the forearm support out because I don't have very much movement in my elbow. I'm going to take that out of the equation. So I just lock that through. I'm then going to turn the tension handle to give just enough assistance that I'm taking gravity away. So there's no effort to let my arm float in this position at all. And then exercise number 1 is working towards trying to slide my arm in a forwards direction. And this may be very difficult for some of you starting out. Your arm's got a tendency to only be able to go across the body. So work with what you've got to begin with, and then the aim will be to gradually work that back around. So you may want to think about or visualize, even mark out on your table or work surface a clock face, so that you might be starting at 2 o'clock and then you're working towards sliding to 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock and 11 o'clock. This may take you a course of days to weeks to get to that point, but it's a nice targeted exercise to focus on. So that's exercise number 1, trying to get your arm towards sliding in a forwards direction. Exercise number 2, very important for hygiene, skincare, washing and dressing, try and get that arm away from the body. Your arm is probably spending a lot of time clamped to your chest. So this takes the weight away. It means I can use any flickers of movement I've got to practice getting a little bit of a gap. And it might be that you have some feedback, some kind of object between your arm and your chest that you've got to let release. And you know your arm isn't clamped when the object drops to the floor. Really focus on the outer part of your arm, pushing away to get that gap. So that's exercise number 2. Exercise number 3 is trying to lift your arm. So trying to get a gap between your hand that may be in a closed position, doesn't matter, up off that table. This is very challenging. You can use the tension handles. If I increase the tension, the device is going to give me more lift and really help that arm lift up. Bearing in mind now when I bring my arm back down, I've got to work against a resistance, which is an exercise in itself. So try and let your arm float up and work with that lift to get that arm up and then bring it back down again. All the time with all these exercises, just think about your posture and position, that you're not just letting your top half do the movement for you, and that your arm and shoulder is trying to work with that. Exercise number 4, I'm going to work on taking that arm back. So extension. So a nice target to work towards is the back of my chair or another object that might be behind you, so you get that feedback when you touch it. Again, trying not to do this, because then it's just your upper body that's having a workout and not your arm. So really think about squeezing the back of your arm to take that arm back, and then you're trying to push forward in as straight a line as you can, because you're then adding in another exercise, which is forwards flexion. So exercise number 5. This is a nice one for just trying to loosen off the shoulders that aren't moving an awful lot at the moment. It's just some really small, gentle circles, as much as you can. It might be that the circle starts off really, really small, and then over time, as you get better and better at this, you start incorporating, taking that arm away from that body to make bigger circles. But as a starting point, it's fine if it's really, really small. If you can go the other direction, add in the other direction as well. So exercise number 5. And hopefully some sample exercises to get you started when you haven't got very much movement in shoulder.